All right, game number one, and we are going up against a druid. Um, the general mulligan for druid. You want your 1 and 2 drops. Those are the most important things. Your 1 and 2 mana cost minions. If you have a 1 mana cost minion, it is fine to keep Power Word Shield. We're gonna toss Paladin Shredder, hoping for a 2 drop, but we get a light bomb instead, unfortunately. The reason for the mulligan is since we are a tempo deck against druid, our number one priority is to get those early 1 and 2 cost minions and 3 cost ones too, because we win by getting the board early and snowballing our board advantage from there. And you see, our druid opponent is a very good druid player because he got the turn 2 wild growth. That is the stamp of approval, I guess. We managed to draw a Dark Cultist and then Curator after that, so we have a pretty good curve. But yeah, getting the board early, it's especially true against mid-range druids, which, after seeing the turn 3 shade followed by the as they're seeing the shade followed up by the Paladin Shredder, we can deduce that he is the mid-range variety. So getting the cultist buff is pretty good pickup. Thankfully, the 2 drop turned out to be something that Zombie Chow could kill and survive the exchange. I go ahead and drop Curator here so I can keep the threats coming. I did have a choice between Sylvanas and Sneeds are both better, but I valued staying on curve over having those high impact minions. Especially since I pretty much have answers in my hand. I can deal with most things that he could put down, except this Druid of the Claw. So I'm gonna go ahead and stay on curve and play this Anubis Sentinel after thinking about Lothar for a minute. But yeah, we want to keep the board because a lot of times mid-range druid, they often cannot clear the board and develop a threat at the same time because their stuff just costs too much to do both. They often need innervate. If they can do it if they make an innervate play. But that's how other tempo decks like Zoo and Tempo Mage win against druid, and they just win that way in general. One other thing I wanted to mention is I catch the swipe here. See, the swipe didn't quite clear the board. The deck's pretty good against just swipe on its own. It's Azure Drake and swipe can be kind of tough just depending on the board state. But anyway. So he's going to clear out the buffed Mech Warper with his shade. I'm going to go ahead and drop Lotheb here. I will not drop Northshire Cleric because I don't want to just give it to him for free. But yeah, the other thing you have to do when considering what to play, the mulligan is simple enough, but you need to think about what minions you're going to play turn after turn starting from turn 1. You have to diversify your damage because Priest is not like Zoo. Zoo can get away with, just dropping pretty much any minion you want because there's so many ways to buff attack in that deck that it just can naturally just get leverage like that. Mech Priest is not like that. There's very few ways to buff your attack. Alright, so he's going to clear this Lotheb with a combination of the Keeper and the Boombot. We like seeing that. We kind of want to see that. Because at least, again, he's not developing a big minion and clearing at the same time. So here, he makes a very interesting play. That Living Roots, he could have easily just killed the Northshire Cleric and did the 2 damage, but he chose to make tokens. So that immediately told me that he had combo in hand. So that put me on alert. So this turn, I'm navigating here. I know I realized after thinking about it that if I just kill the Keeper of the Grove with Shadow Word Pain, and then I can go ahead and play Mech Warper and then play Upgraded Repair Bot to buff the Mech Warper, the most damage he can do is 20, as long as he doesn't have anything else crazy that deals extra damage, like Innervate Savage Roar. He'd have to have Force of Nature Savage Roar, Innervate Savage Roar to actually kill me. And the chances of him having all 4 cards, especially when he definitely used an Innervate, he might have used 2, but he definitely used 1, is extremely low to have all 4 cards in hand. I mean, it can happen, and it has happened. And I mean, there's nothing you can really do about those type of hands. You just take the loss and then queue up again. You can't let this stuff put you on tilt. Anyway, so yeah, the fact that he's throwing all this at my face tells me he is absolutely repping the combo. So I'm gonna do my best I'm gonna heal my face every turn, and I'm gonna clear the board with Holy Nova. This is probably the best it's gonna get in this matchup, clearing stuff like this, because all their other stuff the Druid runs is too big. It doesn't clear it on its own. But yeah, as I was saying before, you want to diversify your damage, especially against Druid, but just in general. So I'll give an example. You play, your turn 1 is Northshire Cleric. You have a Museum Curator and a Mech Warper in hand. Or just a 2-drop mech in general that's not a Noyatron, so Mech Warper or Shadow Boxer. On turn 2, you'll want to play the mech to make sure you have something that can deal 2 damage as well as something that can deal 1. You don't really want to have 2 things that deal 1 damage. Unless, of course, like you don't have a turn 3 play, so you need to drop Curator to try to get a Dark Cultist. That's the only situation where you might want to play Museum Curator over the 2-drop mech, the Mech Warper or the Shadow Boxer. But those instances like that they're kind of few and far between. They don't come up that often when playing this deck. But yeah, you saw that he used his first Force of Nature to clear my board. That told me that he was repping that he had another copy of Force of Nature in hand, because he very freely used the first one. So that is exactly what you want to see. And especially this, he used the second Force of Nature and his first Savage Roar to clear Dr. Boom, because he played BGH just as a tempo play, because it was just a misplay. He just ended up getting too greedy, honestly. He really wanted to put damage down to finish me off with the combo, but I mean, the way Living Roots got played there, he didn't kill Northshire Cleric with it. I mean, I just saw it coming a mile away. So he's just gonna do the honorable seppuku or Sudoku. Sudoku's not correct, but it sounds cooler. And that's gonna be the game. But this is pretty much how it goes against Druid. I mean, not all the time. You either win this way, you completely blow them out, or you both end up top decking and you just kind of sit there and wait for them to draw a combo. You just wait to die. That's the only way they really beat you. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll check you guys on the next one.